Welcome to Illuminati Silver. We tell you the truth about silver. Today is Sunday, the 14th of April, 2024. We're publishing our gold and silver weekly update for the week ending the 12th of April. Gold reached more all-time highs, and silver breached $30, albeit momentarily. What caused this to happen, and what is likely to occur this coming week? Well, let's take a look. Now first, just a quick reminder, we've set up a second channel entitled Finances Do Matter, covering a whole array of financial topics. We've placed a link in the description box and comment section below for those who've not as yet joined that channel. Now gold rose $15 last week, rising from $2,330 to $2,345. Having hit a high of $2,431, yes, that's over $100 more, and a low of $2,303, a rise of 0.7%. In our last update, we predicted that gold would trade between $2,300 and $2,004, which it did until Friday afternoon, when it breached the upper limit for around 2 hours, and then closed within our mid-range forecast. Gold spread between high and low was a considerable $128. In sterling terms, it finished the week up £40 at £1,886. We wouldn't be surprised to see it hit 2,000 at some stage this year. And in euros, it closed at €2,207. That's up €54. Silver rose 45 cents, rising from $27.51 to $27.96. But it did hit a high of $30.44 and a low of $26.91, a rise of 1.6%. Last weekend, we forecast silver would move between $26.75 to $29.50, the highest prediction we've given for well over a year and a half, and like gold, for a short time even exceeded our upper figure for a couple of hours, and then fell back into the middle of our forecast range. It was exciting to watch, though. The difference between its high and low was a significant $3.54, a similar spread to the previous week and 3 times its normal spread. In sterling terms, it closed up 68 pence at £22.48, and in euros, it closed up 0.87 euros at 26.30 euros. The gold to silver ratio fell from 84.7 to 1 to 83.9 to 1. Now, Bitcoin is currently standing at $64,349. That's down $3,500 on the week. US equities were lower. Dow Jones down 921 points at 37,983. The S&P 500 down 81 at 5,123. And the Nasdaq Composite down 73 at 16,175. The FTSE index, though, was up 84 points at 7,995. Oils were marginally lower, not surprising, because I'll cover the strength of the US dollar in a moment. And Brent crude was down 72 cents at $90.45. And WTI crude down $1.25 at $85.66. The dollar index stands at 106.03. That's up 1.74 points on the week, and the highest level it has been for many, many months. Now, last weekend, we pointed out to watch out for the CPI figures due on Wednesday and the PPI figures on Thursday. The market was expecting both CPI and core CPI figures to read 0.3% for March, thereby lowering core CPI year over year from 3.8 to 3.7%. Well, the figures were worse than anticipated. CPI for March came in at 0.4%, causing the year-over-year figures to rise from 3.2 to 3.5, so a reversal of the downtrend. And the core CPI figures for March came in at 0.45, also against expectations of 0.3, causing the core CPI year-over-year figures to read 3.8%. The same as the previous month, but 0.1% higher than anticipated. This caused gold and silver prices to flatline. The The year-over-year PPI figures also went up from 1.6 to 2.1 and core PPI from 2.7 to 2.8%. These tend to give an advanced guide of inflationary pressures, which is not auguring well. Obviously, we get the flatlining of gold and silver because any thoughts about an imminent decline in interest rates were now pushed into the long grass. We shall discuss why gold and silver did rise, however, despite the prospect of interest rate declines being potentially delayed beyond June, in a moment, and why the US dollar gained considerable strength. But first, let's take a brief look at what economic data we can expect this coming week. On Monday, we have retail sales for March, and the market is expecting figures to read 0.3%. Tuesday, industrial production for March. Thursday, US leading economic indicators. So Monday is the one to watch, but it's geopolitical issues that will dominate this coming week. You see, the Middle East conflict has intensified with Iran launching a drone attack on Israeli soil. This was an Iranian response to the Israeli airstrike on its consulate in Damascus earlier in the month. The US has reacted by strengthening its stance with Israel, signaling potential further involvement which could escalate tensions. The situation is dynamic, with potential for further escalation. Therefore, any new military actions or announcements of retaliatory measures are likely to push gold prices even higher as investors seek safety amidst the uncertainty. Market sentiment is currently skewed towards risk aversion, heavily favoring investments in gold due to its safe haven status, and silver is benefiting too. Interestingly, cryptos were lower while precious metals rose, so we can see where investors are heading in time of crisis. Now, we also have to bear in mind that with the dollar at its highest level for a number of months and gold hitting all-time highs, as the dollar value begins to fall again, which inevitably it will, this should further support the gold price. In view of gold's rise and fallback on Friday, traders are expecting gold to open higher on Monday, and especially if more military action takes place. We have to also accept the fact that when this conflict eventually abates, this risk premium reduces, and we could very well see gold and silver prices temporarily fall back again, especially if interest rate cuts are delayed. So where do we see gold and silver heading this coming week? Well, we expect another topsy-turvy week, where literally anything could happen. So our best calculation for gold this week is a trade between $2,325 and $2,450, with $2,300 and $2,475 as outliers. Of course, if the escalation is enormous, then we could be hitting well over $2,500, though I'm not envisaging that at this moment in time. Silver, we predict, will trade between $27 and $30, with $26.50 to $31 as outliers. What do you think? Please do share your thoughts. Meanwhile, thank you so much for listening. We'd appreciate it if you would give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, press the bell sign. Pop on over to Finances Do Matter. Subscribe there if you haven't already done so. And meanwhile, what's left of the weekend, and there isn't an awful lot left, have a safe and enjoyable one. And if you don't make money this coming week or two, when will you in precious metals? See you soon.